Throughout the history of media, the technologies that enabled the media, from newspapers to radio to television, were all one-way technologies.
Today's emerging media technologies allow mass communication to flow two ways for the very first time.
Two-way media is very important because with the technology we have today, you can get instantaneous feedback.
I love being able to comment on a story I read and be heard.
My parents didn't have a choice what they were watching on the TV, were reading in the newspaper. Nowadays, I can Google the kind of news I want to read. I can look up on YouTube the kind of videos I want to see.
For the youth, that's how it's supposed to be. I think they have very little patience a lot of times for media that doesn't react to them now.
It's dull, it's kind of sad. It's like you're a robot sucking in all this information.
The impact of the social conversation happening through two-directional technologies like the internet is you foster a community where people feel like it's their responsibility to participate, where they aren't encouraged to be passive bystanders.
Most media in the past was really just a way for advertisers to reach consumers.
Money has really defined what media, music, any kind of art has become now.
There's a lot more at stake in the social conversation. There's a lot more at stake in mass communications than selling products to consumers.
This is the kind of stuff we need to hear on the radio.
It's becoming less about the money and more about whether or not it's actually going to interest somebody.
I mean, the media, when they're filtering things, a lot of people, a lot of cultures, a lot of voices get left behind.
Individual stories are way more powerful because you could put yourself in their shoes.
I just like the smaller stories because they're like closer to home. They might actually have something to do with me.
I think it might be a way to bring out the real truth in society and what our real values are, and hopefully that'll change our perspectives and what we think is important.
When you take the commercial piece out, it allows people to be more creative and free.
Stuff that we would never see on this planet if technology had not developed to where it is today.
10 or 20 years ago, the number of stories that could be shared was limited by the cost of the equipment and the technology that was required to create those stories and spread them. Today, people on their cell phone with almost no money can create those stories and make them accessible to millions.
The generations before me didn't have the tools to take part in media.
My generation is like a creation generation, okay? We're always creating.
Websites like Facebook and YouTube, public access television are those tools that my generation has.
Putting the power of media into the hands of the community is that necessary step that we need to take. That's what contributes to our democracy.
When I was growing up, if I wanted to understand what was on the mind of youth today, besides my immediate group of friends, I would be watching what adults think is on the mind of youth today. And today you can watch shows like SOS, where the youth are able to directly share with their community what is on their mind.
We let the teenagers have a voice.
There is no adult there saying, this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta do.
And it lets everybody be who they want to be and express themselves.
My voice is important because I represent teenagers in media. I represent young African American girls in media.
I'm very excited for children of color now to be able to find people like them, telling them about the world.
Not only each person, but each community can get their own identity to where they say, this is who we are, instead of someone telling them who they are.
And you couldn't do that before. There'd be too many gatekeepers.
As more organizations like YouTube and Wikipedia and Blogger grow, our youth and our communities have greater opportunity to have their perspectives shared. But what's lacking is the opportunity for them to come together.
You find a lot of people to collaborate with, people willing to help you out, and you can help them out.
The youth group teaches you to work with people you usually probably wouldn't work with.
You can't learn that stuff in a vacuum. You can't learn that stuff in isolation.
People from different backgrounds coming together. I call them my friends and some of them my family.
It's like, it's a space where you feel safe to express yourself.
I don't feel as though we are far enough along in the conversation for people to realize it's a resource that nobody should be without, close to water and electricity.
And that's why it's so important for us to have organizations that have a physical presence in the community and can reach out and make sure that everyone has the same opportunity to engage in the media and engage in their community.
I mean, I think this should be like a course in high school because it's become such an overpowering force in our lives. It's just as common as reading and writing.
If this is where we're talking and people can't get there, then we are shorting ourselves. Who can we include in that conversation who's not there right now?
It's not just a technological change. We're not just shifting what you see on TV, we're shifting the culture and the context of what it means to be a part of a community.
I mean, this is the beginning of what everything is going to be like in the future.
Nothing feels better than to be a part of something.
The future I want to be a part of is one where everyone has a voice and everyone is connected.
I guess it makes me feel important because I have a role and I can help somebody.
I feel so confident about how my life is going to go in the future. It's given me a whole new view of my life.